So the Organization of American States has been working, accompanying member states of the organization in terms of their poverty reduction and inequality reduction agendas over the past few years, several years. And one of the aspects that has shown up on the social development agenda is the need to measure poverty beyond an income-based. And one of the issues that we've been trying to work with member states is working with social development ministries and other agencies, obviously, in discussing some of their priorities or some of their policies in terms of MPIs. In the past 3 years, we discovered sort of a niche or sort of a need for social development ministries to start talking about poverty beyond income. And within the OES, at this General Secretariat, we both coordinate a mechanism for cooperation called the Inter-American Social Protection Network, which hosts mostly social development ministries, but also other agencies from the government, society and academia. And also we coordinate the social development for ministerial work. And within that context, within that framework, we started working with countries that were already developing or starting to design their MPIs in order to be able to share with other member states what they were doing. So specifically, for example, we worked with the government of Colombia in 2 occasions already with the DPS, with the Departamento de Seguridad Social, in order to bring some Latin American countries to learn a little bit about the Colombian experience and also the Mexican experience. So basically, through the OES, what we did is foster South-South cooperation on these issues because it was one of the core elements of the social development policies. Within that pathway, we got to know OFI, and that's how we started collaborating as a partner with OFI and also with the Colombian government and other international organizations that were working on this scope of work as well. The other 2 issues that I would like to also mention that I think might pertain to the multidimensional poverty agenda as well from the Americas region is that very recently a social charter was approved by the member states, which is a mandate for member states to work on to address poverty, inequality, and overall social agenda. And within that social charter, they've also come to draft a plan of action. And that plan of action, which will be approved in a couple of weeks, encompasses 7 intervention areas, which include, in most of the cases, the multidimensional index. So it includes from social protection to labor, education, culture, environment, and also health and food. So that's also I see a linkage that might be able to work in terms of linking that to the MPI agenda at the regional level. And the third example or issue I wanted to mention with regards to the OES is a set of indicators that were designed and also approved by member states on economic, social and cultural rights. So these are not necessarily indicators in terms of socioeconomic, they're not quantitative indicators in terms of socioeconomic development or an MPI. Nevertheless, they also are very important tools for public policy making. These indicators are on all the rights that are comprised within the Protocol of San Salvador, so they're from a human rights perspective, but they have policy implications and very practical implications. So they also cover the right to food, social security, labor, education, culture, adequate food, and a healthy environment. So in that regard, there are also tools that are from different levels. We have structural, we have process and outcome indicators that are also very useful tools for policymakers. Well, I think twofold. In one sense, from an international regional organization such as the OAS, I think it's important to find other actors and to be part of the discussion at the global or at a regional level in terms of what's being discussed in the agenda on poverty reduction and inequality. And obviously, within that, the network that OFI coordinates is a very good place to have those discussions. And many of our member states, Organization of American States member states, are part of this network, and we've been accompanying them through the past years. And what we can bring into the network is also this regional perspective. And as I was mentioning, a little bit further back, which is the way that we can relate and find synergies between the work that OFI does and with some of the member states in trying to organize these South-South cooperation encounters and sort of fostering or brokering that sort of exchange of knowledge and experiences. Well, for example, case in point, last year when we did that activity, which was a South-South cooperation activity, from one hand, from the OAS, we had the demand of some of the social development ministries and other agencies in the region trying to get, because they're trying to design their MPIs, they're trying to get sort of ahead on that agenda. And we also had, both from OFI and from the OAS, we had that demand or that request for assistance. So instead of doing our own path and doing it separately, it's always better to do it in synchrony, so we started trying to find synergies, complement our work, and we did a joint activity in September last year with the government of Colombia. So it's a perfect example of trying to bring in South-South cooperation among countries. I mean, that's the role, obviously, of the countries, of the members of either the MPPN or a network like the Inter-American Social Protection Network. And obviously the members, they are the owners of the exercise. But as international organizations or as academic international organizations, I think our role is to sort of be the brokers of that cooperation and that exchange. Last year we had several countries that participated, obviously Colombia as a host country, but we also had the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, we had Paraguay participating, we had Honduras participating, we had El Salvador participating. So we had several countries that it was mostly Latin American countries. And it was mostly them trying to learn a little bit more about the MPI in Colombia. So we had a field trip, just like this experience right now in Cartagena, and there was also an exercise working with DANE to get that hands-on experience on the programming itself. And we also had obviously the exchanges of some of the participants in terms of where they were, like the state of art in which they were in their individual countries. And a year before that, we also had another activity together with the Colombian government, and we had a few more countries also participating, but some of them hadn't even started thinking about MPI, and that's how we actually got to meet Elfie and sort of start having a working relationship and partnership